Hello everyone, welcome to today's session of Fiber Optics. Myself Dr. Rakhi, Assistant Professor of Physics, NSS College Pandalam. As we all know, optical fibers is a thin fiber of glass or plastic that can carry light from one end to the another. Any data communication system that make use of optical fibers are called the optical fiber communication system. In addition to the capacity of carrying a huge amount of information over long distances, optical fibers made with the latest technology have the property of extremely low losses. The net advantage is that the distance between consecutive electro-optic repeaters used to revamp the attenuated signals could be large, of the order of 250 kilometers. Thus, an optical fiber is essentially a waveguide for light. It consists of a core and a cladding that surrounds the core. It is made from thin strands of either glass or plastic. When it is said that the fiber is made of glass, it should not be confused with the glass used for making windows, beakers, or drinking glasses. Technically speaking, glass is not a particular material, but it is only a state of matter, such as solid, liquid, or gas. Or glass is a solid state of matter in which the atoms are not regularly arranged, but in which the interatomic spacing and bond angles are irregular. The cladding is surrounded by a protective jacket made of one or more layers of plastic material, which prevents the fiber surface from scratches and mechanical forces. Often, two or more fibers are bunched together in the same cable for increased bandwidth and redundancy in case one of the fiber breaks. It is also easier to build a full duplex system using two fibers, one for transmission in each direction. This figure shows the cross-section of an optical fiber. The optical fibers consist of a cylindrical structure of transparent glassy material called the core of refractive index N1, surrounded by a material of cladding which is of slightly lower refractive index N2, and this cladding is enclosed inside a protective jacket to avoid damaging. Optical fibers work on the principle of total internal reflection, which you might have already studied in your plus 2 classes. This total internal reflection is a complete reflection of a light ray reaching an interface with a less dense medium when the angle of incidence exceeds the critical angle. The angle of refraction at the interference between two media is governed by the Snell's law, given by n1 sin theta 1 is equal to n2 sin theta 2. Another term which characterizes the light gathering capacity of an optical fiber is called the numerical aperture. Numerical aperture is abbreviated as NA, and it shows the efficiency with which light is collected inside the fiber in order to get it propagated. Or it is a dimensionless number that characterizes the range of angles over which the system can accept or emit light. It is given by the formula root of n1 square minus n2 square, where n1 is the refractive index of the core and n2 is that of the cladding. The maximum angle through which the light enters the fiber is called the acceptance angle, which is twice that given by the numerical aperture. These optical fibers are packed together as bundles, so they retain a fixed arrangement. These optical fibers are either coherent or incoherent. In a coherent bundle, images as well as illumination can be transmitted, whereas in an incoherent bundle, only the illumination can be transmitted. So, in other words, a large number of fibers assembled together is called a fiber bundle. In a coherent bundle, the relative position of the input and output ends are the same, and the fibers are said to be properly aligned. If one end of the fiber is illuminated, there will be a bright spot at the other end. Thus, a coherent bundle transmits an image from one end to the another. The most important application of this coherent bundling is in endoscopy, which is used to view the interior of the human body from outside. There are various types of optical fibers. These fibers are classified into mainly two categories based on the number of modes and the refractive index. Based on the number of modes, it is classified as single mode fiber and multimode fiber. The single mode fibers are used for long distance transmission of the signals, and multimode fiber is used for short distance transmission of signals. Based on the variation in the refractive index, optical fibers are classified as step index fiber, which consists of a core surrounded by the cladding which has a single uniform index of refraction, and the graded index optical fiber, in which the refractive index of the optical fiber decreases as the radial distance from the fiber increases. In addition to this, there is one more classification which is based on the materials used inside the fiber. It is, if polymethyl methacrylate is used as the core material for the transmission of light, it is called the plastic optical fibers. And if it consists of extremely fine glass fibers, it is called a glass fiber. Let us go into the details of this classification. Based on the mode of propagation, the fibers are classified as single mode and multimode fiber. In single mode fibers, as the name implies, only one mode can propagate throughout the fiber. It has a small core diameter and high cladding diameter. You can see in this picture that only one mode is transmitting throughout the fiber, and the difference between the refractive index of the core and cladding is very small, and there is neither dispersion nor degradation. Therefore, it is suitable for long distance communication. The light is passed through the single mode fiber through a laser diode. In a multimode fiber, in the figure it is clearly shown that large number of modes of light ray are traveling through it, and the relative refractive index difference is also large than the single mode fiber. There is the possibility of a signal degradation due to multimode dispersion, which we will be discussing later. So it is not suitable for long distance communication due to large dispersion and attenuation of the signals. Based on the variation in the refractive index, the fibers are classified as step index fiber and graded index fiber. In a step index fiber, the refractive index of the core is constant throughout the material of the core, but in a graded index fiber, the refractive index of the core decreases continuously from the center to the periphery in a parabolic manner. This figure shows the variation of the refractive index. It is maximum at the center of the core and it is minimum at the core cladding interface. Hence, a ray entering the fiber away from the axis continuously bent towards the axis of the fiber. A ray incident obliquely on the fiber and has to travel a relatively larger path than the axial rays. But as the ray traveling obliquely is passing through the material of lower refractive index, its velocity will be greater. So the graded index fiber reduces the transmit time of the obliquely incident rays. Thus, practically all the rays falling at the fiber end takes the same time in traversing the fiber. Hence, pulse dispersion will be lower in a graded index fiber. So in the step index fiber, the refractive index of the core and cladding are uniform, and the light ray propagates through it in the form of meridional rays which crosses the fiber axis during every reflection at the core cladding boundary. And in the graded index fiber, the core has a non-uniform refractive index that gradually decreases from the center towards the core cladding interface. So this is the core cladding interface. The cladding has a uniform refractive index. The light rays propagate through it in the form of helical rays. They never cross the fiber axis. Coming to the fiber optic communication system. Any data communication system that makes use of optical fibers is called the fiber optic communication system. It is a method of transmitting information from one place to another by sending pulses of infrared through the optical fibers. The main components of an optical fiber communication system are the optical transmitter. So this is the optical transmitter section, the optical fiber, and the optical receiver or detector. This is the optical receiver stage. This optical fiber communication process transmits the signal in the form of light, which is first converted into the light from an electrical signal and then transmitted, then vice versa happens on the receiving side. So on the transmitted side, if the first data is analog, it is sent to a coder or converter circuit which converts the analog signal to the digital pulses and pass through the light source transmitter or circuit. And if the input signal is digital, it is then directly sent to the light source transmitter circuit which converts the signal in the form of light waves. So this information source provides an electrical signal to the transmitter comprising of an electrical stage. This electrical transmitter drives the optical source to a given modulation of the light wave carrier, and at the optical source it is electrical signals are converted to the optical pulses. This optical source may be semiconductor laser or an LED. The light waves received from the transmitter circuit to the fiber optic cable is now transmitted from the source location to the destination and received at the receiver block. The receiver block consists of a photodetector and an optical to electrical converter and the destination. Now on the receiver side of the photodetector, it receives the light waves from the optical fiber cable, it amplifies it using the amplifier and converts to the proper digital signal. Now if the output source is digital, then the signal is not changed further, and if the output source needs analog signal, then the digital pulses are then converted back to an analog signal using a decoder circuit. The whole process of transmitting an electrical signal from one point to another by converting into the light and using optical fiber cable as transmission source is known as the optical fiber communication. In digital communication systems, the information is encoded in the form of pulses, and then these light pulses are transmitted from the transmitter to the receiver. The larger the number of pulses that can be sent per unit time and still be resolvable at the receiver end, the larger is the capacity of the system. However, a pulse of light sent to the fiber broadens as it propagates through the fiber. This process is called the pulse dispersion. So when the light pulses travel down the fiber, the pulses spread out. The phenomenon is called pulse dispersion. You can see in this picture the initial pulses were like this, and as time propagates, as time increases, the pulses gets broadened and it is not well distinguishable at the output end. This occurs because the time taken by different rays propagating through the fiber are different. This differences in time arises due to the difference in the optical paths traversed by different rays. A fiber can guide the light falling at its input end in a range of angles. So, if a ray traveling along the axis of the fiber will reach a given distance more quickly than a ray incident at the critical angle or any angle on the core cladding interface. Consequently, the pulse broadens as it propagates through the fiber. The pulses may be well resolved at the input end as shown in this picture, but due to broadening while in propagation, they may not be resolved at the output end. They may overlap, making them difficult or impossible to distinguish individually. If the output pulses are not well separated, no information can be got back. Thus, it's clear that a smaller pulse dispersion, greater will be the information carrying capacity of the system. This pulse dispersion happens mainly because of four reasons. One is the intermodal dispersion. Many different modes propagate in a multimode fiber. So each of these modes takes different path and different length when traveling down the fiber. This causes the intermodal dispersion. And another reason may be the material dispersion, which is due to the dependence of the refractive index of the fiber material on the wavelength of the light used. Each wavelength takes different amount of time to propagate the same path. Another reason is the waveguide dispersion. It's a type of dispersion attributable to the relationship of the physical dimensions of the waveguide and the optical signal. So in an optical fiber, this shows us the propagation constant of a mode being a function of A by lambda, where A is the core radius and lambda is the wavelength. Unlike material dispersion, Even if the refractive index of the core and cladding are independent of the wavelength, we still have the waveguide dispersion. And finally, the fourth reason for pulse dispersion is the polarization mode dispersion. In a single mode fiber, only one mode can propagate. This mode is actually composed of two distinct polarization modes. The electrical fields of the two modes are perpendicular to each other. These two polarization modes are identical in a perfectly symmetrical fiber. However, in reality, there is no perfect optical fiber. You can see in the initial stage, the two modes are perpendicular to each other. As it propagates, the stresses within the fiber and the forces applied to it from the outside world causes the refractive index of the glass and hence the velocity to differ very slightly for a light in the two polarization modes. These two polarization modes arrive at slightly different time at the end of the fiber. This is called the polarization mode dispersion. In addition to this, there are certain losses in the optical fiber which result from attenuation in the material itself and from the scattering, which causes some light to strike the cladding at less than the critical angle. Bending the optical fiber too sharply can also cause the losses by causing some of the light to meet the cladding at less than the critical angle. The losses vary depending upon the type of a fiber. For example, for a plastic fiber, it may have losses of several hundred dB per kilometer. And the graded index multimode glass fiber has a loss of about 2 to 4 dB per kilometer. Single mode fiber has a loss of 0.4 dB per kilometer or less. Now there are certain advantages and disadvantages for these optical fibers. The main advantage is the greater bandwidth than the copper and has lower loss compared to other communication systems. Immunity to crosstalk, there is no electrical hazard, immense bandwidth to utilize, and total electrical isolation in the transmission medium. It is very lightweight and small in size, high security, low power consumption. And the main disadvantages is that this expensive system installation is very costly and only point-to-point communication is possible. Precise and costly instrument would be required. It accepts only unipolar codes. To sum up, the optical fiber is a device which works on the principle of total internal reflection, by which light signals can be transmitted from one place to another with a negligible loss of energy, and it has certain characteristics. It has a larger bandwidth and transmission losses are less compared to other systems, etc. And the basic construction of the optical fiber is that it has a core and a cladding which is surrounded by the jacket, and the fibers are classified as graded index fiber, step index fiber, single mode fiber, multi-mode fiber, plastic fibers, glass fibers, etc. So this is very effective. Optical fibers are very effective in the communication systems nowadays. Thank you.